Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean McCabe. I'm the principal here at the high school. I'd like to welcome you tonight to our scheduling information night, both the people in person, and I made a mistake the last time we did this. I said the people watching on TV, and everybody made fun of me. Watching on their laptops or computers as well. I'm glad that you're each with us this evening. So I know we're not going to be able to see the people watching online, but show of hands, how many people here are the parents of an 8th grader moving on? Fantastic. Okay, great. And it's absolutely fine if you're not. This is for 8th through 11th grade parents. But typically we find it's mostly our 8th grade parents, especially when they're having their first child go through the high school and the scheduling process. The majority of our participants are going to fit into that with our 8th grade parents. So welcome to the high school. We are very, very excited to be working with our students and to be starting to get prepared for the 21-22 school year. I know that seems a little odd, even before Thanksgiving, but really, besides September, the scheduling process is an 11-month piece for us at the high school. So there's a lot involved in scheduling. So I will be brief tonight. I'm going to turn it over to some of our guests. But quickly, I just wanted to talk about what our objectives were tonight and what we were hoping to achieve. And if we don't, then feel free to see me after this, and I will do my best to make sure that I do answer or achieve these objectives. So we just want to provide an overview of the scheduling process. We also are going to provide information related to the college application process, information related to preparation for career readiness, and connect parents and guardians with resources to learn more about the courses that will be offered here at the high school. And you will be impressed if you've looked at your son or daughter's course selection book, which also can be found online. If you go, you scan there, it's all digital. There's hundreds of classes that we do offer here at the high school for our students to be able to pursue their interest. And that's very important to us, that we give them that opportunity as much as possible to pursue something that they're very interested in. So our agenda tonight, I'm providing the overview of the course selection process and the high school schedule. We'll do an overview of the graduation requirements, and our counselors will be doing that in Gillette and Heidi Morgan. We're very pleased to have Megan Sarkis with us. This is her 13th year with us. She is a Spencer Court parent. Her son is actually a freshman here at the high school. And she's an admissions counselor at Suny Brockport. So she can give a quick overview in terms of some of the things, if you have questions about what you should be thinking about, what your son or daughter should be thinking about if they're thinking about that college path. We're also very pleased that we have Amy Gambino from BOCES here with us to talk about Romoka and all of the wonderful opportunities that are available for our students at Romoka if they're looking to go down through tech ed or career right after high school. And some of our most successful graduates from Spencer Court do follow that path through Romoka. So really want to give both, the same opportunity, whether it's college or career readiness. And certainly, obviously, as well, we have students going to the military, which we're very, very proud of them as well. So they will speak, and then at the end of this portion, we will go out into the cafeteria where we'll have an opportunity to meet with some of the teacher leaders from the different departments, where you can ask specific questions about any courses that you're interested in for your son or daughter. So I'm just going to go right to the timeline for the high school scheduling process, and I'm not going to bore you going through the entire thing. But again, you can see that it's fairly extensive. Over the next few months, we will be working with your child and with you and with their teachers to try to pick the best courses possible for them next year to ensure that they're engaged academically, they're excited about school, and we're preparing them as best possible for their future. Quickly for our freshmen, or excuse me, our 8th grade parents, incoming freshmen, I just spent a second going through this, and normally I feel like I'm anchored here to this podium. I'd be wandering all over the place, so but just for our viewers on TV, so to speak, I will not be moving. But this is our schedule that we follow here at the high school, and we're on a 4-day rotation. We're in an A, B, C, D day rotation. So the vast majority of our classes meet twice during those 4 days. So what you see there is a sample schedule where on an A day, first block, the student has algebra, and then on the C day, first block, they have algebra again, and then that would rotate through. The majority of our classes follow that rotation. The exceptions are our science classes with labs where they may meet 3 out of 4 days. PE meets 1 out of 4 days, and some of our special support classes meet 1 out of 4 days or 2 out of 4 days, so it varies. But again, I think I emphasize with the 8th graders when we meet with them in the moving up ceremony that'll take place in June, and certainly during freshman orientation, is even though the schedule is different than what they're used to at Cosgrove, they will have it down within 3 to 4 days, without a doubt. Never have a problem with that. So that's the schedule. So again, a little bit different than what you're used to at Cosgrove. Academic supports I always like to talk about. Just for a moment, things that we have in place to support students academically. This year, we do not have advisement. We can thank COVID for that. But we all know that COVID will be conquered next year. We will be back on our normal schedule. And we will have advisement in place. That means every day for 25 minutes where students can get extra help from a teacher or make up a test, whatever the case may be. We have activity period after school every day for 30 minutes where students can also get extra help from teachers, and there are late buses that are provided for transportation home. Our NHS tutors, our NHS students provide tutoring for homework. Our counselors help to set that up. We have academic intervention services, so AIS, and another piece that we really strengthened this year is our academic workshop. And certainly some of our current parents, I really am encouraging parents right now that have their son or daughter take advantage of this. So we have after school tutoring for an hour, Monday through Thursday, from 2:50 to 3:50, where we have content specialist teachers that are there in school or will Zoom with students at home to provide further academic support. So we really try to make sure that we're setting our kids up for success in all of their courses and making sure they're supported academically. So again, that was just a brief overview for me. The experts are our counselors. And so I am going to invite up, we have Rebecca DiNatale will be working with our freshmen. She's not here tonight, but also Amy Gillette and Heidi Morgan. So I'm going to welcome them up to the podium and let them take over.
Thank you, Mr. McCabe.
You're welcome.
Right in there. I'm going to give that to you. So I am Heidi Morgan. I will have the incoming 9th graders, grades or letters A through K.
And my name is Amy Gillette, and I will have the incoming 9th graders L through Z. Becky DiNatale is our counselor who oversees some of our special education students, in particular our 15 to 1 students, as well as our students that are at the academy.
Okay, so we're going to kind of briefly go over graduation requirements. Maybe. There you go. Okay. Did you go on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for graduation, for the high school, you need to have 23 credits. The next slide, I'll go over where you need those credits, but 23 credits for graduation. Students can have a maximum of 7.5 credits on their schedule. As a senior, you do have the privilege of having 5 credits, if that's something that you're looking at doing. One of the questions I do get from, or both Mrs. Gillette and I get from incoming 9th graders is, should I take a study hall during freshman year and do 6.5 credits? It's really something that is an option. The max is 7.5. You can do 6.5 with a study hall. And then as a senior, you can do 5 credits. Okay. So credits for graduation. So as far as diplomas, there's really the diplomas for the regions and the advanced regions. The main difference I'll go over is the exams. Credits are the same. You'll need 4 years of English, 4 years of social studies, 3 years of math, 3 years of science. You'll need a LOTE, and I can kind of go over that as well. That's where it's a little bit tricky. You'll need LOTE. You're going to need a half credit of health. You're going to need PE. You'll need your elective credits and PFL as well as senior project. So those are the actual credits you need for both types of diplomas, for the regions and the advanced regions. The difference as far as credits for those 2 different types of diplomas would be your LOTE requirements. So if you're looking at getting the regions, you only need 1 year of a foreign language. If you're looking at getting the advanced regions, you're going to need 3 years of that language. Middle school does count as 1 credit. So it'd be in 9th grade, and 10th grade is where you'll take your Regents exam. But as far as exam differences, so when you're getting your Regents diploma, you need 5 Regents exams. You need your English, social studies, math, and science. So 4 in your core area, and then a second one either in social studies, in math, or in science. So you need 5 exams for the Regents diploma. For the advanced Regents, you need 8 exams. So you'll need your English exam, 2 social studies exams, 2 science exams, and then 3 math exams.
So post-secondary education. So how do your goals align with your 4-year plan? So this is one of the reasons why we do meet with our students when it comes down to scheduling, just trying to figure out the classes that work best in terms of aligning those with their long-term goals. We try to talk to students in particular, probably in 10th and 11th grade, about what colleges are looking for. I know Megan's going to talk a little bit about that as well in a few minutes, but just looking at what some of the requirements are for certain colleges, which pretty much align with what our graduation requirements are here at Spencerport High School. Making sure that students are challenging themselves academically, certainly doing their best to get themselves involved with clubs and activities, which this year it's been nice to have those back up and running for students. And then lastly too is just having that opportunity to volunteer. Again, another piece that we didn't have as much last year. We're now seeing more organizations looking for volunteers for different types of activities. With regards to colleges too, one of the ways in which we will be communicating with your students, we send messages and updates and emails through Schoology. We do occasionally send email messages out through Infinite Campus as well, but this is really our tool that we use to communicate with students. Infinite Campus, I know we tend to be able to get to more families and parent emails as well. But as it pertains to colleges, every fall and sometimes in the spring, but particularly in the fall, is when we have college representatives come and visit. And it's an opportunity, whether your son or daughter is interested in that school, it's just an opportunity for them to sit down and have a conversation with a college admissions rep, asking them questions about what the admissions process looks like. Again, just a great opportunity for them to learn some more information. And that's open to grades 9 through 12. It's not just for juniors and seniors. It's really open for all grades. We also have our students that are interested in going through the military. And again, it's just enrolling in classes that might align with those goals. You know, some students aren't sure of that process until maybe they get into their junior or senior year. Certainly, it's not unusual for students to maybe be interested in that in their 9th and 10th grade year. But really, I feel like we tend to have more students ask questions about that in their junior and senior year. And so just as we do with college admissions reps, we do also have recruiters come in and ask to meet with students that are interested in that. So again, we use that email system through Schoology in terms of sending out information. If students need to come down and sign up for that, they come down and are able to get passes in the counseling office to do that. But just making sure that attendance is good, just as it would be for college. The other piece too is taking the ASVAB, which is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude and Battery. It's not just for students who are interested in the military. It's a great career interest inventory. But for those students who are interested in pursuing a career in the military, it is something that they would need to sit for, and they can do that in their junior or senior year.
So the next path we talk about with students is students who are interested in going straight into the workforce, going into employment. So what we really do encourage the students to do is making sure that one, they explore different electives here while they're at school, seeing what they might be interested in, anywhere from, technology to, culinary to business classes. So really kind of using the electives to explore different areas of interest. And then making sure that they are reaching out to teachers when they're getting ready to graduate for letters of recommendation, for employers, using them as a reference. So it's really important to build those relationships so they have someone here at school that they can put down, or a couple of people they can put down as a reference. The other thing we talk to students about going straight into the workforce is making sure that you're paying attention to your attendance. Sometimes employers might reach out and say, one, verifying whether or not they've, graduated from high school, but also, checking attendance. So that's something that we always tell students, that it's an important part of it.
I think just one other thing to add, regardless of which option, your child chooses, is to also consider building a resume. That's something that we can sit down with your son or daughter and work with them on. And it's also a feature that we have in Naviance, but that's probably a whole nother presentation.
I was gonna say, as a side note, we do seminars once we get advisement back, where we meet with the students throughout the high school to kind of look at career opportunities, post-secondary plans. So we do meet with the students throughout their high school career to help them develop a plan after graduation. So Sean, people might make fun of you for saying TV, but we can't use the clicker, so. All right, so as far as Womoka, I know Amy's here to talk about Womoka, but Womoka is a great opportunity for our students during their junior and senior year. If students are interested in going to Womoka, we always encourage them to make sure that they're paying close attention to their schedules in 9th and 10th grade year, just because once junior year comes in and you look at Womoka as an option, Womoka eats up a good portion of the day, so we have to make sure we get certain classes out of the way before junior and senior year. Those classes would be doing your art elective, art/music elective, making sure that you do PFL, which is a graduation requirement, and then health. So typically students who are interested in going to Womoka, looking at making sure, like 9th grade, you have, your art, whether it's DDP, studio art, band, chorus, doing that, during the freshman year. And then sophomore year, we encourage students to do PFL and health, and they usually pair very nicely together. They're each 2 half-year classes, and doing them during the sophomore year. And then during sophomore year also, students will be able to tour. So Mrs. Gillette and I are taking our 10th graders on December 3rd to Womoka for a tour. So during their sophomore year, we take the students who are interested to go over and visit 2 programs.
So next up, so this is the course selection sheet that you'll be seeing pretty soon for your 8th graders. I know that Mrs. Henninger, who is the 8th grade counselor right now over at Cosgrove, has already met with all of her the students in terms of giving an introduction, and then we'll be meeting with them, I believe, after Thanksgiving to really sit down and start to work with them on this form and on course selection. the high school, what we're going to be doing is we will be meeting with grades 9 and 10 during their phys ed classes starting December 8th. We will be meeting with them individually and give them an overview of what the course selection process looks like. The one thing that we do like to talk about is that there is no guarantee that the electives that you select will necessarily fit into their schedule. We definitely do our best to make sure that anything that's in a student's request is something that gets into their schedule, but we do come across some conflicts at times that don't allow us to get every single elective that is selected into their schedule. Oh, and then for any questions regarding the course selection, if you have a question about a particular course, I would have you contact your child's current teacher. And then anything with the actual process, the course selection process, you know, if you're an 8th grade parent that's here, I would have you contact Mrs. Henninger. That will obviously switch over to both Mrs. Morgan and I once July 1st rolls around. And just know too that this is a process, like Mr. McCabe said. I know he talked about it being an 11-month process. It truly is. There's a lot that can change between now and when next year starts, which I don't want to fast forward, but so there's a lot of conversation that can happen. There are still changes that can happen. So we just want to make sure that there definitely is some flexibility in this process as well. And the counselor assignments, again, so for next year, Mrs. Morgan is going to have the beginning part of the alphabet, A through K. Myself, Amy Gillette, I'm going to have the end part of the alphabet, L through Z. And then again, Mrs. DiNatale will have our 15-to-1 and academy students that are incoming for the 9th graders. And now I think I get to turn it over to Megan Sarkis.
Scaring me about this. I know.
Thank you, Mrs. Gillette and Mrs. Morgan. Again, my name is Megan Sarkis. I'm the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Suny Brockport. Also a parent to 2 kids in the district, one of whom is a freshman here at the high school. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how course selection, even at the 8th grade level for incoming 9th graders, will open doors for them and affect some options that they'll have down the road. And you may be asking, well, this truly is 4 years down the road. I don't need to worry about college admissions requirements right now, but truly the classes that they choose to take as 9th graders and 10th graders really build a foundation and give them a lot of options in 11th and 12th grade for career exploration, for taking other elective classes, and even for earning potentially quite a bit of college credit while they're still here at Spencerport High School. So things that are pretty universal in terms of what colleges consider when reviewing applicants is not just the grades that students have received in their classes, but the courses they took and the academic rigor. There's that myth that colleges just look at junior year. That is not the case. When we're reviewing applications, we see their entire high school career and the courses they took as 8th graders that count towards their graduation requirements. So at a minimum, that would be their foreign language when they're in 8th grade. But if your student is taking accelerated math or accelerated science, as an 8th grader, we'll also see that as well. And we see their 12th grade schedule. So the transcript really tells us a story in terms of how is the student prepared for the rigors of college level coursework, how have they prepared for their intended major, et cetera. We know what the minimum requirements are for a Regents diploma. And you heard Mrs. Morgan mention them earlier. We know that they can finish with their foreign language after sophomore year. So a great way for students to stand out in the college applicant pool is to take beyond the minimum requirements. So taking foreign language after they fulfill the minimum requirements looks great. Those students easily stand out, especially when they're taking a foreign language in their junior and in senior year. So that's one easy way for them to kind of rise to the top of an applicant pool. And it's important to consider that some colleges, while they may not know as a rising 9th grader what their post-high school plans are, They may decide, you know, as a high school senior, I want engineering, I want to apply to Clarkson, or I want to go to RIT, or I want to do pre-med. Some colleges will have very strict requirements for some of their more competitive majors. For example, as I mentioned, up here, Clarkson University requires pre-calculus for any major. Nursing programs, including ours at Suny Brockport, students must, at the bare minimum, have chemistry. And you want to see something beyond chemistry too. And it's important to note that, as I mentioned, we're well aware what the minimum requirements are. So a lot of times students are tempted to take an easy senior year, take those minimum 5 credits, have early dismissal or a few extra study halls. I challenge them to continue with math in their senior year. That's really important because math is truly a gatekeeper for many academic majors. And also continue with science. And if it's not physics that they want to take, what other elective can they take? Can they fill that void in their schedule with? That will still give them a robust senior year schedule. Boy, you cursed me, Mrs. Gillette. Come on. You've never had problems. Yes, okay. So some other factors for that we're considering when reviewing applicants is, as I mentioned, grades in those college preparatory classes. Students at Spencerport will get an overall GPA that is including every class that they took while they were at the high school and every high school level class they may have taken while they were in 8th grade. So that GPA will include some, your PE classes, music classes, electives. Many colleges, most colleges, in fact, will then recalculate that GPA to get a core GPA with just the 4 core subjects: English, math, social studies, and science. So we take these 2 GPAs when we're considering students. We're looking at their rigor of coursework, and your son or daughter may already have the opportunity to take an accelerated class, and next year they may get recommended to take an accelerated class. It's about achieving balance. Not everyone's going to be in all accelerated classes or 5 AP classes as a junior, and that's okay. But if they've shown strength in a particular academic area, maybe it is math and science, or maybe it's social studies and English. It is our hope that students will work towards taking an honors or perhaps an AP level course in that particular subject area, so that they can show they can handle the rigors of college level coursework. What did I do it last time? There. Okay. So as I mentioned, strength of senior year classes is important. They will be tempted to kind of reward themselves and take an easier road senior year. And I'm not saying, again, they have to be in all AP classes, but they should still have a robust senior year schedule. If students are on the borderline of admissibility, we often look at what they're taking in their senior year. And if they've taken it easy, we worry about their transition to college. So it may tip the scales not in their favor. But if they continue to challenge themselves senior year, taking a math and science, oftentimes it can tip the scales in their favor. We like to see extension of academic interests outside of the classroom, whether that's a foreign language club or National Honor Society, knowing that there's some volunteerism that's related to that. And when possible, students should look towards working towards leadership positions within a club or organization. Having a part-time job is wonderful. It demonstrates a lot of maturity and time management skills. So not everyone's going to be a 3-sport athlete. Not everyone's going to be president of student government, and that's okay. But we look for students with a wide variety of experiences, both in and out of the classroom. So why should they challenge themselves while in high school? For all the reasons I mentioned earlier, it looks great on a college application. It demonstrates to admissions committees that the student is prepared for the rigors of college level coursework. Colleges want to admit students who we think are going to be successful on our campuses. As I mentioned, math is a gatekeeper for many majors, and it really should be taken all 4 years. I know the counselors say that. Other college reps will say the same thing. If possible, we want to see math all 4 years. You'd be surprised at the majors that require a pretty heavy load in math. Psychology is one of our most popular majors. It's a Bachelor of Science degree. And as such, students have to take statistics and a few other math courses. when they're on our campus. If they've taken a year off their senior year of high school, getting back into the swing of things with math can prove sometimes to be very challenging for them. And then lastly, what I would want to mention is that our students here at Spencerport are very fortunate to have the opportunity to earn quite a bit of college credit while they're still here at the high school through these programs that are listed up there. And I noticed that they're also in the course scheduling book as well, that I know that my child brought home last week. So the first is Suny Brockport's 313 program, where it allows seniors at Spencerport to take courses at Brockport, their senior year of high school, that fulfill graduation requirements and also earn them up to 24 college credits. Does not matter if they plan to attend Brockport or not. The courses that they can take while in high school through AP, through dual credit, Project Leadway, and 313 are designed to be easily transferable to 2- and 4-year schools, public and private. For example, personal financial literacy. All students have to take it, and they all have the option of earning 3 credits through MCC. My son is in it as a freshman. I didn't hesitate because it's the cheapest college credits you'll ever have. I paid $250, and he's earning 3 credits from MCC. And again, it does not matter where he attends school. Those are 3 credits that are universal. So they come into Brockport as Economics 101. If it's not required for his major, then it comes in as a lower division elective credit. So it still goes towards that 120 graduation requirement for college credits. So they should absolutely take those opportunities to earn college credits while they're here. As I can't stress enough, they are universal in terms of transferability for sure. The Project Leadway students earn college credit through RIT while here at Spencerport. So that concludes my portion of the presentation. I will be available in the cafeteria afterwards if anyone has any specific questions. But next up to talk about career and technical education options at Romoka is Amy Lagamina.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, everybody. I'm contributing for our assistant principal, Tony Dredd, who will be here, so bear with me as I use notes. And we see how everyone is struggling with this. Which way do we point it? That way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So, Romoka is a career and technical high school located on the BOCES Big Ridge Road campus, which we're kind of just around the corner. We serve 9 area school districts and have just under 1,000 students, as mentioned earlier, the juniors and seniors. So at Romoka, a big focus is on technical, academic, and career readiness skills, because those are the hallmarks of career and technical education. And technical skills development allows our students to enter the workforce directly from school, if that's what they choose, going into a skilled position rather than just an unskilled entry-level position. The academic skills like English and math are integrated into some of the Romoka programs. So students could, for example, get an English credit in any of the senior classes without having to take a separate class, and the assignments are related to the program's subject matter. Receiving a credit is always at the discretion of the home school. And career readiness skills refers to the skills we all use for work. For example, collaborating with coworkers, showing initiative and flexibility. So I'm going to briefly describe, very briefly describe each of the 20 programs. There we go. Okay, our programs are arranged according to the federal career clusters. So digital and visual communication, students learn how to integrate their own creativity with graphic and multimedia skills. They focus on getting Adobe Creative Cloud certification, and they work on designing web pages, print products, and video images and including moving images and sound. So next we have our construction cluster, carpentry. Together, actually, all these clusters, our carpentry students actually build a house along with the HVAC and electrical student support. We're one of the only BOCES that builds a whole house that's auctioned off at the end of the school year. HVAC and plumbing is, of course, learning the basics of piping and installing residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, refrigeration. Residential and commercial electrical, the students learn electrical theory and they learn to interpret the National Electric Code. Child and family development, that focuses on learning about human development from birth to adulthood, and students prepare for teaching careers or other helping careers like social workers, counseling. We actually operate a preschool age play group right on our campus. Next, the health science cluster. So dental assisting, students in that program work in dental offices and they earn 200 hours of clinical experience that they need to be to test out for licensing. And similarly, in nurse assisting and associated careers, health careers, it's a new title for that class. They earn the 100 hours of clinical experience. So this is all getting a chance to work in actual healthcare facilities while they're still in high school. The medical laboratory assisting and phlebotomy program, students learn to, they'll get enough experience actually working in a lab that they can take the test for phlebotomy in their junior year. Even though they may not be old enough to work in the field lab, they can get certified. And then in senior year, they're now earning the certified medical laboratory assistant classification. And let's see. Okay, baking is our only one-year program. So students can take that as juniors and seniors. And it's pretty obvious that these skills preparing confectionery foods and breads. The culinary program, we have professionally equipped kitchens and students learn about menu planning, catering, as well as restaurant management. Human services, cosmetology, some of you may know that it takes 1,000 hours of experience and education before you can take the New York State cosmetology licensing exams, and students get that all done while they're at Romoka. Exercise science students can prepare for getting a personal training certification while they gain experience with health and wellness athletics and learning, working with rehab professionals. Need an assistant with this. Here we go. Okay, just a few more classes. The computer technology, which is in the information technology cluster. Our students get experience in everything from hardware, networking, and then they go on to develop video games themselves. So it's it covers all areas of IT. The manufacturing, we have both machining and welding. In machining, the students learn CNC machining, manual, and operating lathes and mills as well. In welding, they'll learn all the standard 4 kinds of welding, which I won't go through, as well as plasma arc cutting. Public safety is our news program. Students learn about the 3 branches of the criminal justice system and prepare for careers in law enforcement or the courts. And the last cluster we have auto tech. These students are going to learn about how to diagnose and repair vehicles, including the electronic computer issues. Auto body is a little self-explanatory. It's metal straightening and welding. Heavy equipment operation and maintenance, the students prepare for a commercial CDL license, and they learn how to repair repair and maintain heavy equipment as well. And outdoor power sports, students learn to diagnose, troubleshoot, and repair 2 and 4-stroke engines in recreational and utility vehicles. I should have brought someone along to help with this. Okay, just a couple of flash facts here. Seniors are in the morning, juniors are in the afternoon. As I said, it's all, the big thing is our 1-year course, everything else is 2 years. Although students can come in senior year and get partial credit. Work-based learning allows students to get immersed in professional workplaces. They're assigned to go to businesses, and also there are work-based learning opportunities right on the local campus. For example, our welding program made fish pens for the DEC that are used in rivers to help young fish get started and not get eaten by bigger fish. And yes, apprenticeships and scholarships. Many of our students, more than half of our students, do go on to college. They don't all enter the workforce. And many programs often do dual enrollment with college classes as well. And I mentioned integrated academics a little earlier. So tour day is coming up next week, which the counselors mentioned. Our school closes on tour day so that 10th graders can come and get the most attention from our teachers. There we go. So if you have any questions, I have information out in the cafeteria about each individual program and to give you a lot more details. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. I think one of the biggest perks of my job happens at graduation every year, where we recognize approximately 300 students is what we average, 280 to 300. And we are so proud of our students, and it's really amazing that, you know, we'll have students that may be going to Princeton or whatever college they've chosen. We have students that are joining the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy. And we have students that are going right into the workforce because they've done something through Romoka where they're getting great jobs right out of high school. And it's just really awesome when we see these freshmen mature over the 4 years. And so whatever path they choose, we just want to be there to support them. And our biggest piece is we want them to have a plan when they graduate from high school, that we prepared them, working with you, the parents and guardians, that we prepared them for as many options as possible for life after high school. And so hopefully this overview provided an insight into how the scheduling process works for us here at the high school. One of the most powerful pieces of this evening, and I apologize for the people who aren't with us live tonight, is again, we're going to break right now. We're going to go out into the cafeteria, and you'll be able to talk to our teacher leaders if you have specific questions about classes for each subject area. I also want to welcome, and I failed to mention this at the beginning, and I apologize, Dr. David Russell, who's our 8th grade assistant principal at Cosgrove. So he's here with us tonight, and he will be out there to help assist with any questions that you might have about the process that's taking place over at Cosgrove at this time. So thank you, David, for being here with us. So a lot of great resources will be available out in the cafeteria. I want to thank everyone for being with us this evening. As always, the biggest piece I emphasize, questions are great. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you don't have to ask them all tonight. You can email us, you can call us, and we will work with you hand in hand throughout this process. So again, thank you for being with us tonight. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with family and friends. So thank you.